Today is Silent Saturday. It's the second to last day in Holy Week. And Silent Saturday is so termed because it was on that day that Jesus was in the tomb and all hope seemed to be gone. And the disciples were discouraged, they were anxious, they were worried and frustrated. And yet no word came from heaven. No word of encouragement, no word of hope. Nothing but darkness and silence. And all of us have had our Silent Saturdays. Maybe you're in one right now, or we will be soon. And it's those days when we are crying out like the psalmist, "Be not silent, O God. Come to my rescue. Be active. Hear my plea. Do something for me." And we are tempted to believe that because it feels like God is doing nothing, that he must be doing nothing. When it feels like God is inactive or unconcerned or aloof to our problems, that's what it must be. But we are also called by God to remember his promises more than what we feel. And in the midst of it, I think that our response should be to sit and to wait. That we would wait for the Lord because we know that he's active, but it's just like what he was doing with the disciples. That God was doing something. In part, what he was doing was preparing the disciples. He was exposing stuff in them that they didn't know about themselves. And yet he was preparing them for what was to come on Easter Sunday. So God is working. He's always working for the good of his people. We just don't always feel it. And the fruition of that comes later. And so sometimes what we need to do, the best thing to do, is to sit in the darkness, to sit in the pain, to sit in the silence, and to trust God and just to ask him, to cry out to him, yes, ask him to speak, ask him to work and to move for your good, but also to trust him and to wait for him because his timing is perfect. And in the meantime, he is still doing much. So on this Silent Saturday, may we reflect on the unseen hand of God and the constant love of God, no matter what we see. And that we would sit and wait for him because he has earned that trust. He is worthy of that trust.